You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network.
Fabulous.
Live every Sunday with the very latest food, beverage, and travel trends.
Amazing.
Now here's the host of our show, Mr. Randall White.
And a very good Funday morning, everyone. Great to have you with us here for Eat, Drink, Explore Radio, the Sunday morning version. Heard 8 to 10 live each and every week right here on KSCO AM 1080 and Crush 92.5 FM, completely encompassing California's Central Coast from, well, Santa Cruz all the way down into Santa Barbara County. It is a fantastic 2-hour romp through food, beverage, travel, and tourism trends. We really just try to give you, well, it's our goal anyway, to give you the tools that you need to enjoy life's pleasures in a healthy, sustainable, and hopefully community-focused manner. This hour of Eat, Drink, Explore Radio brought to you by Eberly Winery in Paso Robles. Their tasting room and their tours are open daily, this time of year anyway, from 10 in the morning until 6 o'clock at night with complimentary, that equals free, wine tasting and cave tours, actually voted by Wine Spectator magazine as one of the best tours on the entire Central Coast. Eberly Winery, located on Highway 46 East in Paso Robles. You can log on to eberlywinery.com, E-B-E-R-L-E winery.com for more information. And if you do end up going to Eberly and taking one of their fun cave tours or sitting out on the patio and enjoying a summertime snack with some of their delicious wine, make sure you let them know that you heard about Eberly and their fantastic location on Eat, Drink, Explore Radio. All right, straight ahead on this hour of the program, a pretty jam-packed couple of hours of top-notch guests. Did you hear about the new study out of Harvard School of Public Health regarding eating breakfast and your heart? And also late night, eating those late night snacks. Are you a late night snacker? Do you find yourself in the morning, I can't really stomach breakfast, but then at night, you really like to wolf something down? Well, if that's the case, you have a much higher risk of heart disease and several other maladies, health issues. We will speak with Dr. Leah Cahill. She's one of the chief people for this study. She'll join us from Boston to talk about all the different reasons why it is so important to eat breakfast. And I mean, let's face it, it's 8:09 right now. So eating breakfast is probably right there on your list of things to do today. And so seriously, you'll want to hear the information coming from Dr. Cahill here in just a moment. Then at the bottom of the hour, we speak with the preeminent source on high-speed rail here in California, Rod Diridon. Now, those of you listening in San Jose are very familiar with the Diridon station there. It's a Caltrain station. It's an Amtrak station. And that's where it got its name, Mr. Diridon. He's the executive director of the Mineta Transportation Institute at San Jose State and the longest serving chair of the high-speed rail board. He is one very interesting and knowledgeable person, and I thought it would be good to bring him on the show in light of that terrible tragedy in Spain this week. I personally have seen several headlines regarding high-speed rail here in California in the wake of that tragedy, tying things together that shouldn't be tied together. And so at any rate, it will be interesting to hear Rod's take on all of that. And so he'll join us at 8:30. Then it is off to our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., where our monthly contributor, Andrea Sachs, joins us. She is a writer for the Washington Post travel section. Specifically, she's in charge of their What's the Deal column that has to do with the best travel deals of the week. So she'll be sharing the best deals of the week with us. And when I talked to her earlier this week, she was mentioning to me that she'll be out here in California, San Francisco specifically, in the next month or so to do a story on crowdsourcing and finding things online that you share with other people. Well, there's a whole travel wave, apparently, of people that experience new locations that way. They'll have these meetups where, for instance, you trade homes, and then when you trade your home and you get there, then you offer dinners at your place, and then you have dinners at other people's places that live there in the area, and everything you do is connected to other people, much different than the way that we're used to traveling. So I cannot wait to have her on when she's finished with that segment to find out some of the options we have in our arsenal for traveling. Then in the next hour, in the 9 o'clock hour, we we speak with Matthew Botting. This guy's great. I love Matthew. He is with the California's Alcoholic Beverage Control. We had him on once before to talk about some of the unusual wine laws that are out there. You may remember he talked about signing wine bottles and how that is technically illegal for winemakers to do in their own tasting rooms. Well, he's back again, and this time to enlighten us on California's growler laws. Now, you've heard us speak about growlers many times here on this show. Growlers are these large containers that hold beer, and you can get them filled up at your local brew pub or microbrewery. And, they've got some stuff on tap there. You don't have time to be in the tap room, or you've got friends coming over, or you're headed to a party, whatever it may be. You want their beer, but it's not available in bottles or that sort of thing, or whatever it is just on tap. So you get your growler filled up, but it's not always that simple. You have to have a specific growler, and you can't take a growler from, say, Sierra Nevada Brewery and try to get it filled at Seabright Brewing Company in Santa Cruz. It's all very confusing. However, the laws have changed recently because of a lot of beer lovers, craft beer lovers, and breweries sort of complained about this, and so the law. Well, I'll let Matthew explain it. They haven't technically changed. It's just the ABC has clarified their position on these things. So you'll want to hear this about California's growler laws. Then it's we are coming up on International Albariño Day. It is this coming Saturday, August the 3rd. This is a Spanish varietal grape, and the Tapa Society. TAPA, what does that stand for? Tempranillo. I forget what it stands for, but I'll let you know coming up. At any rate, this society celebrates the Albariño grape, and we have really a large number of growers within the sound of my voice right now that specialize in this varietal, and there will be a lot of fun events coming up this coming Saturday. So you'll want to hear what Richard Longoria of Longoria Wines in the San Ynez Valley has to say about that. And then finally, we round out the entire show with a really bright spot, Tamara Starr. She's fantastic. She lives in Boulder, Colorado. Her website is dailytransformations.com. She has 7 of her own hangover tips for you. It's a Sunday morning. You might need these, and especially after all the talk on growlers and Albariño wine and all those sorts of things. You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network, 8:14 the time. We're back in just a moment with why breakfast is so darn important.
Randall White here, host of Eat, Drink, Explore Radio, with a tip for Central Coast wine tasting. Eberly Winery was recently voted Winery of the Year by the world's top sommeliers and has one of the best local tours according to Wine Spectator. Eberly Winery open daily 10 to 6, and the winery's cave tours and wine tasting always complimentary. It's easy to find, too. Located on Highway 46 East, just 3.5 miles from Highway 101. Now it's time to plan your visit. Just head to eberlywinery.com.
Seems everybody's going organic, including lawn care. Did you know communities across the country are converting their lawns, playgrounds, and playing fields to an organic care program? And it's working. You can safely control weeds and pests and have a beautiful lawn. Your kids, pets, and water supplies will be safer, and your neighbors will be green with envy. Oh, and in the long run, organic lawn care is cheaper than doing it the conventional way. Switch to organic lawn care today. Visit pesticidefreelawns.org. The folks who brought you this public service message. Check out pesticidefreelawns.org today.
Imagine a world where bullying isn't considered a normal part of childhood.
A world where I'm not afraid to go to school.
To speak out.
To be myself.
A world where I'm not afraid to be caught alone.
Come on, punk.
We have the power to stop the bullying. Speak out.
Speak up.
Educate.
Find out what to look for and how you can make a difference at bullying.org.
Bullying is not kids being kids.
It's not about good homes or bad homes.
It's not a normal part of growing up. I shouldn't be afraid to get on the school bus.
To turn on my computer.
Message. Or walk to my locker. Did you know that a bully will stop his or her behavior in 10 seconds when their peers speak up?
Use your voice.
Hey, leave him alone.
We have the power to stop bullying.
Find out more at bullying.org.
Bullying.org.
Where you're not alone.
Where you're not alone.
Where you're not alone.
The Eat, Drink, Explore Media radio show you are currently enjoying is in a local affiliate commercial break. Live programming will return shortly. Did you know you can watch a live video simulcast of our Sunday morning and Thursday evening shows from your computer, smartphone, or tablet device? And to top it off, it's free. Simply head to eatdrinkexplore.com or download our free app from the Google Play or Apple App Store. If you have a suggestion for an upcoming guest segment, send an email to radio@eatdrinkexplore.com. We're always looking for fresh ideas, including yours. We love to share fresh, local, organic, seasonal, and sustainable ideas throughout the week. And the best place to find those are on our Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook feeds. Our username across the social networking universe is simple: Eat, Drink, Explore, all one word. Hey, college students, Eat, Drink, Explore Media is always looking for qualified journalism or marketing interns. Send us an email today so we can check your status and put you on the list for upcoming intern vacancies. Would you like to hear this Eat, Drink, Explore radio program on one of your local radio stations? Let the station know and contact us as well so we can get the ball rolling. Okay, you made it. The local affiliate commercial break is now over. Time for more informative and entertaining programming from Eat, Drink, Explore Media. Thank you for your patience. A very good morning and welcome back to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. I'm your host, Randall White, and it is now 8:19, right in the heart of the breakfast hour, of course. Have you had yours yet? Will it be a big brunch with, bacon and eggs and everything else, omelets that they make for you and that sort of thing? Or something lighter, like just some fruit and a bowl of cereal or oatmeal. In any case, you really should consider eating something substantial this morning, as a new study out this past week shows skipping your morning meal, specifically men, are you listening, have a much higher rate of health problems. Dr. Leah Cahill with the Harvard School of Public Health joins us on the live line now to explain the details of her research. Welcome to the program.
Hello there. Thanks for having me.
Very happy to have you here. I kept seeing these headlines all week long about breakfast and your heart, and I thought, our show airs in the mornings. We talk about food. We got to have Dr. Cahill on. So we're so glad that you could join us. Was the research surprising at all in any way to you and your team?
It wasn't entirely surprising because other studies had shown that skipping breakfast was associated with high blood pressure and diabetes, which are risk factors for heart disease. But what really surprised us was when we started to think about how much of an impact this could have just because of how common heart attacks are.
Yeah. In fact, heart disease is the number one killer in the United States, if I have my facts right. In fact, it eclipses all the other causes of death combined.
I think that's right, and I think that's the case for many countries in the world as well.
Yeah, and the United States is
sadly, near the top of that heart disease problem, perhaps because we're so busy and skip breakfast a lot. Was that one of the reasons you decided to do this research?
That was, yes. Many of us had noted that we never felt quite ourselves if we didn't have breakfast. Mm-hmm. We wondered what would happen if you had many, many, many days over many years without eating breakfast.
And so how did you do that? What was your group? Who did, I know that studies have like a control and you pull out certain factors and stuff like that. What was your group of people that you looked at?
So we looked at about 27,000 male health professionals. It was part of a cohort of men that have been followed for almost 30 years now. A large ongoing study that's very well characterized and well defined. And so we followed them. And as part of the big study, many, many characteristics about their lifestyle had been collected every 2 years. So this was the ideal group of men to study because we knew so much about them. We knew their physical activity. We knew their alcohol intake. We knew how much stress they had associated with their job. All these factors that we could incorporate into the analysis to make sure that any results we found were not due to other lifestyle factors.
And so these roughly 27,000 men, are they younger, middle-aged, older?
They were between, they're older, so they were between the ages of 45 and 70, or 80, here we go, at baseline.
Oh, okay. And over how many years was this particular study followed?
We followed for 16 years.
Oh, okay. So we're looking at some really solid numbers here then that really play into this. What are some of the some of the other factors that you would take out? Because when I first mentioned this study to a friend of mine, he said to me, "Oh, well, sure, because people skipping breakfast are, really busy people. They're probably not exercising as much because they're off to the office right away, and so it's not the breakfast; it's their lifestyle."
Yeah, your friend's very clever. That's kind of what we thought too, and it actually took us a while to do the analyses. We really wanted to make sure that we weren't missing another factor. So one thing that we took into account was how regularly the men in our study saw a physician for a regular physical exam, thinking, maybe they just don't get to their doctor because they're too busy.
Yeah.
We took into account whether they eat late at night. Maybe they're just too full in the morning because they eat late at night. We took into account how many hours of television they watched. We took into account how much alcohol they had. Also, whether they were married and had someone to nag them.
Right. Like, you need to eat better or whatever. And smoking and body mass, all that sort of stuff.
All that stuff. And we had this data every 2 years. So we were able to incorporate changes in smoking habits or any of those lifestyle habits too. So it was quite an in-depth analysis. And
so you pull all those things out and the numbers pretty much stayed the same for you.
Yeah, we still saw that skipping breakfast was associated with about a 27% increased risk of heart attack as compared to eating breakfast.
That is a big jump, 27% increase just solely based on breakfast.
It is. It's not as large as some other factors might be, but considering how commonly breakfast is skipped, this could have a large impact in America if people who don't normally eat breakfast started to.
Dr. Cahill, what do you think the connection is between eating breakfast and then the end result being an increased risk in heart attack?
So we have a theory, and now we need to replicate it in further studies before we can say this is for sure. But what we think, based on our findings, is that it's the actual time of day that breakfast is. So, and the function that breakfast has of breaking fast in the morning. So, you've been fasting all night while you're sleeping, and when you're in a fasting state, your body does a few things. It releases cholesterol into your blood. It releases insulin into your blood, which is a very important hormone, and it increases your blood pressure. And that's fine and healthy and normal, but if you wake in the morning and you don't eat, and you go about your busy day, for several hours in the morning before lunch, you're staying your body in that fasted state, and you're increasing your insulin, your blood pressure, cholesterol. And so we think that develops to diabetes and high blood pressure and high cholesterol, which then over time would lead to heart disease and heart attack.
I would imagine that I never skip breakfast just because I love food too much. But I would imagine skipping breakfast might lead you to be hungrier when you approach the noon hour, and you might eat more things that would make you satiated, that would have maybe higher fat content and stuff like that. Was that looked at all?
Yeah, so in our study, we noticed that the men were not making up for it later in the day.
Oh.
And that surprised us because there have been studies that have shown, many studies that have shown, if people are fasting for too long when they're given food, they eat more than if they'd had, if they hadn't been fasting. So the men in our study were not doing that, but that's definitely, I think, a behavior that a lot of people have. And, we've all been there,
Yeah,
You're starving and,
Yes, I'll have that pizza with the the pizza. How about midnight snacking? Was that taken into consideration? Because I know several people, they all happen to work in the restaurant industry, that will eat late night and then skip breakfast.
Yes, that's a really good point. That was a factor that we accounted for, the late night eating. We had data on that. And when we included that in our analyses, we still observed that men who skipped breakfast had increased risk. We did see that the men who ate late at night, that in its own was also associated with a higher risk of heart attack as compared to men who didn't eat late at night.
Oh.
So we think there could be something involved with the body's circadian rhythms too.
Yeah. That might play into also, Dr. Cahill, people who work strange schedules.
Exactly. That's a very good point.
Mm-hmm.
And also, taking into account what your body is doing when you're eating. So eating a lot before bed and then you're just lying there, you're not really able to digest and burn off the food.
Well, Dr. Leah Cahill with the Harvard School of Public Health on their new study regarding your health and whether you eat breakfast or not, specifically in this case, men. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us today. And I'm sure there are a lot of people listening to the program now who may not have been planning to eat breakfast and now will.
Oh, that would be wonderful. Thank you very much for having me.
All right, everyone, stick around. We're back in just a moment. You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. I'm your host, Randall White.
Imagine a world where bullying isn't considered a normal part of childhood.
A world where I'm not afraid to go to school.
To speak out.
To be myself.
A world where I'm not afraid to be caught alone.
Come on, punk.
We have the power to stop the bullying. Speak out.
Speak up.
Educate.
Find out what to look for and how you can make a difference at bullying.org.
Bullying is not kids being kids.
It's not about good homes or bad homes.
It's not a normal part of growing up. I shouldn't be afraid to get on the school bus.
To turn on my computer.
Message. Or walk to my locker. Did you know that a bully will stop his or her behavior in 10 seconds when their peers speak up?
Use your voice.
Hey, leave him alone.
We have the power to stop bullying.
Find out more at bullying.org.
Bullying.org.
Where you're not alone.
Where you're not alone.
Where you're not alone.
The traditional light bulb, a groundbreaking invention in 1879. Other groundbreaking ideas from that time, the whalebone corset, the pedal-operated submarine, and the two-story outhouse. We've come a long way since then. It's time our light bulbs did the same. Visit EnergySavers.gov and learn about energy-saving light bulbs. See, these new bulbs are more efficient than the old ones, like a text message is more efficient than a carrier pigeon. They last longer, too, like how we humans last longer now that doctors use antibiotics instead of leeches. And they cut down on our energy costs, because in our own groundbreaking age of aeroplanes and moving pictures, we deserve a light bulb that saves us some cash. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Energy and the Ad Council.
The Eat, Drink, Explore Media radio show you are currently enjoying is in a local affiliate commercial break. Live programming will return shortly. Did you know you can watch a live video simulcast of our Sunday morning and Thursday evening shows from your computer, smartphone, or tablet device? And to top it off, it's free. Simply head to eatdrinkexplore.com or download our free app from the Google Play or Apple App Store. If you have a suggestion for an upcoming guest segment, send an email to radio@eatdrinkexplore.com. We're always looking for fresh ideas, including yours. We love to share fresh, local, organic, seasonal, and sustainable ideas throughout the week. And the best place to find those are on our Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook feeds. Our username across the social networking universe is simple: Eat, Drink, Explore, all one word. Hey, college students, Eat, Drink, Explore Media is always looking for qualified journalism or marketing interns. Send us an email today so we can check your status and put you on the list for upcoming intern vacancies. Would you like to hear this Eat, Drink, Explore radio program on one of your local radio stations? Let the station know and contact us as well so we can get the ball rolling. Okay, you made it. The local affiliate commercial break is now over. Time for more informative and entertaining programming from Eat, Drink, Explore Media. Thank you for your patience. Welcome back to the program, everyone. Great to have you with us, as always, here on the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. I'm your host, Randall White, and, there have been a lot of headlines over the past week following that terrible tragedy out of Spain with the train there that derailed. It technically was not one of their high-speed trains. It was a hybrid, they said, but it did ride on some of the high-speed tracks. And since then, I have seen a number of articles in the press that, because of this happening, has brought some attention back to California's high-speed rail project. One of the headlines that really got to me was it was a CBS headline that said California to continue with its high-speed rail plan despite this tragedy in Spain. There's really no connection. And then when you read the article, it's actually a very well-done article. It was just they used that headline to grab people, and it grabbed me. I went in there and started reading it. Any listeners to this show know that I've been a long supporter of California's high-speed rail, and it's time for our state, our country, to get up to speed, so to speak, with the rest of the world, the rest of the industrialized world, and here we are just lagging in this area, and a lot of it has to do with the fight that has to take place in order for us to put in this high-speed connection between the Bay Area and Los Angeles. One man who knows this topic better than probably anybody in the state is Rod Diridon. He's the executive director of Mineta Transportation Institute there in the South Bay. Former chair, longest serving, of the California High-Speed Rail Board. He joins us on the live line right now. Rod, welcome to the program.
Nice to be here, Randall.
Yeah, it's been several years since I spoke with you. I was the host of Your California several years ago, and we talked about this same project back then. Over the past, I guess it's probably been 3 or 4 years. What's changed since then? Are we making any progress on getting this rail into place?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, the project goes into construction in September or October in the Central Valley. in the area around Fresno, and then it will be extended on down to Bakersfield. Roughly 140 miles of high-speed track will be installed by 2017. It'll be about $6 billion worth of construction. Fortunately, in the area in the nation with the highest construction employee unemployment. So it's going to be helping both employment and preparing for high-speed rail through that long, flat stretch in the Central Valley where the maintenance base is going to be located.
There had been some complaining when it was announced that that stretch in the Central Valley would be the first segment to go in. Why was it that the board chose that stretch to get things started?
Well, it was given to us in precepts by the Federal Railroad Administration. They said they wanted a place between two cities, and at that time we only had $5 billion, and the only two cities we could connect were Fresno and Bakersfield. All the other cities cost more than that to connect. The second precept was that it needed to be near the central maintenance base so the rolling stock could be maintained, obviously. And finally, it needed to be on a piece of track where there would be a long, straight portion where the trains could be trusted at 220 miles an hour. And the place that occurs most conveniently is between Fresno and Bakersfield. So it really led us to do what Ike Eisenhower did with the interstate highway system when he started that system for the nation out in the middle of Kansas, between a couple of small towns that really nobody had ever heard of. Right. But he got it started, and then he expanded it out as money became available.
Rod, you bring up a great point. The interstate system and many other infrastructure projects take a lot of money, a lot of time, and there are always a lot of people giving some level of pushback because they want it to be done right or they don't want it to be done at all. But when you really look at it, we have to have this level of infrastructure to continue to be competitive, for one thing, and also for environmental reasons, and the list goes on and on for high-speed rail, I believe. Who right now seems to be cheering the loudest against high-speed rail here in the state?
Well, Randall, there seem to be maybe three groups that are cheering against it. They're certainly not a majority of the population. Majority of the population is still adamantly in favor of high-speed rail, but you got your anti-spend on anything group. We're not going to change their mind. Then you have your group that is along the tracks. They don't understand how it's going to go, and they're confused. They need to have more information. And that's a group we need to communicate with because they ultimately will be supporters. And then finally, you have the groups along the tracks who are negotiating for a better price for their land. As the construction project has to acquire the right-of-way. And they have the right to do that. More power to them. And they ought to get the best price they can negotiate. Unfortunately, in that process, they tend to appear to be critical, and that undermines the project a little bit. But altogether, those don't come up to more than about 40% of the population, with the rest of the folks, although they're not as noisy or as newsworthy as the opponents, but the rest of the folks are strongly in favor.
I'm wondering how much this pushback ends up costing in the long run. These people who say they don't want money spent on things end up actually forcing the cost of the price tag of this even higher.
Well, you're absolutely right. Every year you delay on a project like that adds the inflation, the construction inflation costs, and that certainly is going to increase the cost. Additionally, we need the service, and we need to avoid the air pollution that the highway and airline alternatives are causing. So it does cost us both in money and in terms of livability. So we need to move ahead as quickly as we possibly can.
Rod, the initial dream was to have a station that's being built, I believe, at the Transbay Terminal there in San Francisco, and have that extend all the way down into Los Angeles. Although I've seen over the years some articles that communities along the peninsula don't want the high-speed trains going through their areas at high speed. Where does it all stand right now? Is the general plan all still in place?
Yes, the plan has been approved. The route and the station locations have been approved and certified as part of what's called a program-level environmental clearance. The project-level clearance is occurring now, and it'll identify where the grade will be, whether it'll be in a tunnel, in a trench, on grade, or elevated, in every section of the trackage, how it's going to enter the stations, and the speed in each one of the areas. Now, a deal has been struck on the peninsula that the trackage that's currently there is going to be the trackage that will be used. Now, in much of that area, it's a 4-track system already. In some of the area, it's 3 tracks, and in some portion, it's down to 2 tracks. And they'll just have to work that out using the tracks that are there and intermixing the Caltrain system, which is going to be a new light electric train system that will be operating at over 100 miles an hour, and the high-speed train system that will operate about 115 miles an hour on the peninsula, with the high-speed trains having the right-of-way, and probably maybe 2 or 3 or 4 high-speed trains per hour going from San Francisco down through San Jose, Gilroy, then over to Merced, and on down through the Central Valley to Los Angeles.
So the current Caltrain users will get a boost from this speed-wise, it sounds like, because I've taken Caltrain many a times, and I don't ever remember it going 100 miles an hour. So people commuting back and forth between cities along the peninsula and San Francisco and San Jose can look forward to much faster commutes?
Yes, I think that's true. Eventually, it's expected that the electrically powered trains will go all the way down to Gilroy. The first step is that they will go down to San Jose and be electrically powered between San Jose and San Francisco, and the same power source will power both the Caltrains, which will be a newer European-type electric trains, as well as the new high-speed trains, which will be state-of-the-art, internationally respected high-speed trains. The Caltrain will be running around 100 miles an hour, which is going to be faster than their current 79 mile per hour speed, and it'll cut down the time between San Jose and San Francisco. And the high-speed train will be running 115 to 120 miles per hour, and of course that will be very fast, with only one stop, maybe even not even one stop, between San Francisco and San Jose.
Rod, before I let you go, I want to ask you about that accident in Spain, that terrible, deadly accident. Is it that the conductor of the train was simply going too fast, and would there be fail-safes on California's system so that something like that couldn't happen here?
Randall, that's exactly what's happened. I was on the train in Spain 3 weeks ago, and I know that there's warning devices in the newest trains if you're going too fast. Big alarms that go off, and then the computer actually takes over and slows the train down if you're going too fast. This must have been an older model, and apparently the driver was going better than 2 times, going 115 miles an hour around a 50-mile-an-hour turn. And that's apparently what's caused the accident. The report's not out yet, but that's what caused the accident. But even with that terrible accident, remember that the Japanese high-speed trains, operating since 1964, the French high-speed trains, operating since 1981, carrying billions of riders, have never had one fatality. Last year in the United States, 32,000 people were killed on our freeways. So if you want to be on the safest mode of transportation the world has ever known, ride high-speed rail.
Rod Diridon, Executive Director of the Mineta Transportation Institute here on Eat, Drink, Explore Radio. Thank you, sir.
You betcha, Randall. Nice to be with you.
All right, stick around, everyone. We're back in just a moment. Randall White here, host of Eat, Drink, Explore Radio, with a tip for Central Coast wine tasting. Eberly Winery was recently voted Winery of the Year by the world's top sommeliers and has one of the best local tours according to Wine Spectator. Eberly Winery open daily 10 to 6, and the winery's cave tours and wine tasting always complimentary. It's easy to find, too. Located on Highway 46 East, just 3.5 miles from Highway 101. Now it's time to plan your visit. Just head to eberlywinery.com.
Hello. Hello, this is Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and I want to tell you about my new favorite discovery, Yosemite National Park. I recently went there with my husband and children, and we walked the trails to see the breathtaking waterfalls, admired the grand meadows, and giant sequoias. But the future of our national parks is uncertain. Many challenges face our parks today, from polluted air and water to development threats outside their borders and inadequate funding to protect our national heritage. That's why the National Parks Conservation Association recently completed a decade-long assessment of the challenges facing our national parks, along with proposed actions that will ensure our children and grandchildren will be able to enjoy the parks as we have. Our national parks have inspired Americans for nearly 100 years. As we approach the centennial of the National Park Service in 2016, please join us in helping to protect our national park legacy. Find out how at www.mpca.org.
Randall White here, host of Eat, Drink, Explore Radio, with a tip for Central Coast wine tasting. Eberly Winery was recently voted Winery of the Year by the world's top sommeliers and has one of the best local tours according to Wine Spectator. Eberly Winery open daily 10 to 6, and the winery's cave tours and wine tasting always complimentary. It's easy to find, too. Located on Highway 46 East, just 3.5 miles from Highway 101. Now it's time to plan your visit. Just head to eberlywinery.com.
The Eat, Drink, Explore Media radio show you are currently enjoying is in a local affiliate commercial break. Live programming will return shortly. Did you know you can watch a live video simulcast of our Sunday morning and Thursday evening shows from your computer, smartphone, or tablet device? And to top it off, it's free. Simply head to eatdrinkexplore.com or download our free app from the Google Play or Apple App Store. If you have a suggestion for an upcoming guest segment, send an email to radio@eatdrinkexplore.com. We're always looking for fresh ideas, including yours. We love to share fresh, local, organic, seasonal, and sustainable ideas throughout the week. And the best place to find those are on our Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook feeds. Our username across the social networking universe is simple: Eat, Drink, Explore, all one word. Hey, college students, Eat, Drink, Explore Media is always looking for qualified journalism or marketing interns. Send us an email today so we can check your status and put you on the list for upcoming intern vacancies. Would you like to hear this Eat, Drink, Explore radio program on one of your local radio stations? Let the station know and contact us as well so we can get the ball rolling. Okay, you made it. The local affiliate commercial break is now over. Time for more informative and entertaining programming from Eat, Drink, Explore Media. Thank you for your patience.
You waited all week, and it's finally here. The Eat, Drink, Explore Weekly Travel Deals Extravaganza.
Welcome back to the program, everyone. It is time to get those deals from the best of the best, the travel gurus from coast to coast. And the final Sunday of every month, we pull in our very good friend, travel writer for the Washington Post, Andrea Sachs. Well, joins us on the live line right now from Washington, D.C. Hello, Andrea.
Hello there.
And
I was expecting trumpets and elephants.
Oh, yeah, no, sorry. Just our pre-canned music, that's all.
No, people can imagine trumpets and elephants.
Yeah, they can.
It's radio.
It is radio. It's theater of the mind.
Exactly.
So I want people to start using their mind and imagining beautiful places like, well, out west here, the Grand Canyon, for instance, and some fabulous lodges they have within the canyon are at a discount as we wind down the summer months.
Yeah, and this is great because everybody loves the Grand Canyon, and it's probably, if not the most, or maybe I think maybe Yosemite gets a lot more, or is it Yellowstone?
I think
Yellowstone or Yosemite.
Well, those are the three big ones: Yellowstone,
Yeah.
Yosemite, and the Grand Canyon. And to get a discount in any of those parks is a rarity.
Exactly, because demand is so high. So with this deal, it's called the End of the Summer Package, And at two of the lodges within the national park, the Maswick Lodge and the Yavapai, is that how you pronounce it?
Yavapai? Mm-hmm.
Yes, Yavapai. It's like, do you have a pie? Yavapai.
You were just in Arizona not that long ago. You didn't get up to speed on all of your Native American words.
I know. I have to go back then. That's what it means. And these are both on the South Rim, which is a beautiful spot.
Yeah.
And so with the deal, the Maswick Hotel, a room starts at $174, and at the Yavapai, it starts at $159, and that's close to $80 in savings, if not a little more. And this is travel, which is a great time to go there, although it is still hot, but it's between August 25th and September 12th.
Yeah, that's a really great period. Does that include, because that little stretch in there includes Labor Day, does it not?
There is a blackout date of August 30th to September 1st.
Aha.
Yes.
That answers that question.
Wise. Yes, those national park people are smart, you know. They need to make the money on that weekend.
I'll tell you what, the last couple of times that I stayed in Yosemite at one of the lodges there, it broke the bank. I mean, they're really expensive within these parks because you said the demand is there. And so to be able to get a good deal like this at the Grand Canyon on the South Rim, which of course is the tourist rim, that's fantastic. I love that one. All right, let's talk about a hotel chain that is known for its opulence and just fine locations, fine properties. The Fairmont hotels and resorts, specifically the ones in Canada, are offering a deal, huh?
Yeah, this one's great. It's a free third night at many of the ones that you recognize, such as the Fairmont Empress in Victoria and Fairmont Tremblant. And I think my French is a little better than my Native American. And so with the third free night, I mean, sometimes these rooms are going for at least $200. So you pay the normal rate for the first two, and then the third is absolutely free.
Fairmont owns that hotel, do they not, that is on a lake in Canada, and you just always see pictures of it? Is that in Banff?
Would that be? Yeah, there's the Banff one. There's also Jasper Park.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but whenever I see a picture of that hotel, I'm pretty sure that I've looked it up, and I think it's a Fairmont property. But I didn't realize they had so many in Canada.
They really do. I mean, they have them all across North America, but I think the Canadian ones are really their signature properties, or at least they're the ones I feel like I hear about a lot.
Right. Sounds like a good deal. So you need to book that before August 9th, so people have about a week or so.
Yeah, tons of time.
Yeah. When it comes to booking, get on it.
Yeah, it should be done now. You've had your minute.
I haven't been to a Universal theme park in a really long time. Just to give you an idea, the Jaws exhibit was new. You know, where Jaws comes out of the water.
Didn't it celebrate like the 50th anniversary recently? I'm kidding.
I think so, somewhere around there.
I think was it 25th?
It had to have been 25th because Jaws came out in the late 70s. So, but
I just made you 300 years old.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Andrea. The Universal Orlando's offering 2 free days of the Universal Dining Plan. Am I reading that right?
Yeah, this is great because if you book with one of not their main properties, but sort of their off-site properties, which could be like a Ramada or, sort of those recognizable chain names. Mm-hmm. And if you book one of those hotels, you get this 2 free days for your entire family of a Universal Dining Plan. So you can eat at the parks, the 2 theme parks, and then at City Place?
I'm not
City
sure.
Walk, Universal City Walk.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some of the restaurants there, and it covers 1 table service meal, which would be entree, dessert, and beverage, 1 counter service meal, entree, beverage, 1 snack, and 1 beverage for each family member for 2 days. And how expensive their food is.
And that's a really good deal because it's the food. Like buying all the food, meal after meal, especially with a family of 4 or whatever, that really starts to add up. So that's a great package.
Yeah, it's really good, and it's really family friendly, which is really nice because I know that's really a concern. A lot of people, they have to spend so much on the flight and the hotel and accommodation sometimes, and to not have to worry about this.
Yeah,
I say, yay, Universal, thank you.
All right, let's jump from North America over to Europe and talk about some river cruising, which is really the big thing right now.
It is. I think people want that more intimate experience and to be able to see the shore and to be able to hop off and bike around or go see a vineyard. And it's much more of sort of the land sea rather than the giant cruisers where you're just sort of out there at sea.
Yeah.
And then you have a couple days on land, and then you're back at sea, and then you don't really see land for a while.
Right.
So, did I sell that one or what?
Yes, and I've been on them, so I know exactly what you're talking about. How fun for this Viking River cruise to sail from Amsterdam, one of my favorite cities.
Oh, yeah, this one is great. It's 2-for-1 rates, plus you get airfare discounts. And it's tulips and windmills, so obviously you're going to see tulips and windmills. And it goes around to what else do you see? In Amsterdam, and so it sails round trip from Amsterdam. So now it's starting at $2,072 per person double. So each person pays $2,000, whereas normally it would have been twice as much.
Yeah. How many days is that?
That one would be 9 nights.
9 nights. That's a good deal for $2,000.
Yeah, really good. And then they'll discount the airfare. So for us from Washington Dulles, it's starting at about $895. So that's at least $100 savings.
Ooh, I like that. And then you have another deal with. I think this is a river cruise sort of thing. Maybe I could be wrong, but you can save $2,000 per cabin.
Yeah, this one's really good, and this one even gets the more intimate experience because this deal, it's through European Waterways, and they consider themselves a luxury hotel barge operator, and there are only 8 passengers on this barge.
What? 8? So, that's it?
Yeah, like have a party. Oh my God, like just get your 7 friends and rent it out. And this one, so you save $2,000 per cabin or $1,000 per person. So now it starts at $4,500 basically, and it's for 6 nights, and it's in southern France, and you're just going through the canal.
Oh my God!
I think it's a UNESCO site. I mean, it's very, very historic.
I love that, and it includes all your meals and wine and all that sort of thing.
And biking, yeah. So you can borrow their bikes and just sort of hop off and bike along the canal and then hop back on. That one's really good.
Well, we only got to 4 of your deals today, Andrea, because we don't have an expanded segment like we have with you normally. But next week, we'll get back to the expanded segment. If you want to check out all the other deals, which includes Southwest Airlines and some trips to South Africa, even a safari, you need to go to the Washington Post travel page right now and see the deals that were listed in this morning's paper. Andrea Sachs, travel writer for the Washington Post, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
All right, stick around, everyone. We have a whole nother hour remaining. The Eat, Drink, Explore Media radio show you are currently enjoying is in a local affiliate commercial break. Live programming will return shortly. Did you know you can watch a live video simulcast of our Sunday morning and Thursday evening shows from your computer, smartphone, or tablet device? And to top it off, it's free. Simply head to eatdrinkexplore.com or download our free app from the Google Play or Apple App Store. If you have a suggestion for an upcoming guest segment, send an email to radio@eatdrinkexplore.com. We're always looking for fresh ideas, including yours. We love to share fresh, local, organic, seasonal, and sustainable ideas throughout the week. And the best place to find those are on our Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook feeds. Our username across the social networking universe is simple: Eat, Drink, Explore, all one word. Hey, college students, Eat, Drink, Explore Media is always looking for qualified journalism or marketing interns. Send us an email today so we can check your status and put you on the list for upcoming intern vacancies. Would you like to hear this Eat, Drink, Explore radio program on one of your local radio stations? Let the station know and contact us as well so we can get the ball rolling. Okay, you made it. The local affiliate commercial break is now over. Time for more informative and entertaining programming from Eat, Drink, Explore Media. Thank you for your patience.
You're
listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network, live every Sunday with the very latest food, beverage, and travel trends.
Fabulous.
Now here's the host of our show, Mr. Randall White.
And a very big welcome, everyone, to hour number 2 of the Eat, Drink, Explore radio program here on this Sunday Funday. Great to have you with us. Really a great lineup of guests that we had that last hour. So you ready to eat breakfast now? Maybe you already did after listening to Dr. Leah Cahill with the Harvard School of Public Health. Clearly, our body cycles, our circadian rhythm, as she was talking about, play a big role in when we should be eating and digesting, and it all ties right into the old ticker. So if you missed that, we will have it available for you online later today, definitely tomorrow. You can check back to eatdrinkexplore.com and hear more on that. Also, California's high-speed rail, controversial among a small group of people, but the majority of us are looking forward to it, and Rod Diridon really gave us a great look at where everything stands and how it's all moving forward. And then, of course, one of our favorites, Andrea Sachs with the travel deals. All of these links available at eatdrinkexplore.com under today's program summary, and that includes all of the ones we've got coming up as well here in this next hour. This is our Crush 92.5 exclusive top of the hour segment at 8 o'clock and now at 9 o'clock here. Coming up in the next hour, we've got some beer talk, some wine talk, and some hangover talk. So they all go together well, I thought, when I put the show together. This hour of Eat, Drink, Explore Radio is brought to you by the terrific people out at Eberly Winery in Paso Robles. They are open daily this time of year during, daylight saving time. During daylight saving time from 10 until 6 o'clock at night. When we switch back to standard time, their tasting room closes at 5. It's complimentary wine tasting. You don't find that much anymore. And cave tours as well. Voted by Wine Spectator as one of the best tours on the Central Coast, Eberly Winery is located on Highway 46 East in Paso Robles. You can log on to their website. It is eberlywinery.com, EBERLE winery.com. So my family was visiting last weekend, and boy, we had a great time. 1 week ago today, we were out at one of our favorite spots at Tognazini's Dockside. I think it's called Dockside 2. It's the little fish market portion of Tognazini's right there on Morro Bay Harbor. And it's always crowded, but it was way more packed than normal. And that's because there was a fundraiser going on for Woods Humane Society, which is a no-kill humane society here in San Luis Obispo. That means if an animal is picked up, no matter how long they have to wait for a new doggy or kitty owner, and even if they never get one, they will not be put to sleep. And you don't find too many no-kills around anymore. And so Woods really does an amazing job, and that's why I was so happy to see the giant turnout there last Sunday. If you were unable to make it, I'm sure Woods would be more than happy to take a donation. You could send it their way today and say, sorry, I wasn't able to make it out to Tognazini's, but what a fun place it is out there. And then the next day, my mom and dad and I went out to Avila Beach on Monday for the day, and that was a lot of fun too. And you know what we stumbled upon? And this is something that I've said time and time again that Avila needs more of. And who knows, it might not actually be competition because I don't know who owns it, but there's a new restaurant going in. And for those of you who love to visit Avila Beach, you know how badly that town needs at least one other restaurant, right? So it's located right at the corner of San Luis Street and Front Street, adjacent, or not adjacent, but across the street from Joe Mama's Cafe and right down the hill from the Inn at Avila Beach. And it'll have a big outdoor patio area that looks out at the water, and I think seafood is going to be the main thing there. So I think that's badly needed, and I can't wait till it opens, and it looks like it's not too far off. All right, stick around. We're back in just 1 minute.
Hey, farmers market fans, listen up because we're launching a new show just for you. Join the Eat, Drink, Explore radio network each Thursday evening from 5:30 to 6 for a healthy dose of recipe sharing and food news. We broadcast our show live from the historic downtown San Luis Obispo Farmers Market, but the information shared is designed for anyone who has a love of fresh, seasonal produce and locally made artisan treats. So whether your favorite market is located at San Francisco's Ferry Plaza in downtown Santa Monica, or if you're simply a member of a CSA, you'll love our weekly Market Fresh, available live each Thursday evening at eatdrinkexplore.com. And if you missed the show, follow our updates on Facebook and Twitter for links to the recipes shared, video from the show, and other great information. Eat, Drink, Explore Radio's Market Fresh, helping perfect your California flavor.
You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network.
Fabulous.
Live every Sunday with the very latest food, beverage, and travel trends.
Amazing.
Now here's the host of our show, Mr. Randall White.
I just love hearing Kira Clapper's voice each Sunday morning when we kick off the show here at 8:06 and 9:06. Kira Clapper, for those of you listening right now that live within the reach of Bay Area television stations, you can see her pretty regularly on ABC 7. And especially on the weekends. I think that's her regular shift. So Kira does the voice for our opens, and we absolutely love her. I am your host, Randall White. The other voice that you typically hear right around now is Patty Pyburns, but Patty's off today, finishing up some of her really important studies for her master's degree, and only a week or so of that left, and then she is done for good. Great to have you with us, everyone. It is our Sunday Funday show, and we do come to you live from California's Central Coast. Each week, we bring you current information on the latest food, beverage, and travel trends so that you can get the most out of your California lifestyle. This hour of Eat, Drink, Explore Radio brought to you by Eberly Winery in Paso Robles. Find more information online at eberlywinery.com, EBERLE winery.com. All right, straight ahead on this hour of the program, we are speaking, just after the commercial break coming up, we are speaking with California's Alcoholic Beverage Control to learn about the somewhat confusing and complicated laws surrounding growlers, beer growlers, craft beer growlers, that you take fresh tap beer from your favorite brew pub and bring it home or to a party or a picnic or however you might want it. It's only available on tap there, and you fill up a growler and then you return with the growler. And it's very environmental. Plus, it allows you to taste fresh tap beer in areas where you might not normally. The problem is the growler itself and the labeling that has to go on it so that it can conform with California law. And it has a lot of brewery owners and patrons sort of raising their hands up in the air and that sort of thing. So the state of California decided, you know what, I know this doesn't happen very often, but the state of California decided it doesn't have to be that difficult. And they have clarified. Apparently, none of the rules have been changed, but they have clarified and said, okay, this is what we mean. And I'm glad they did because it was much needed. So that's coming up right after the commercial break. And then at the bottom of the hour, we are talking about a Spanish grape varietal. It is International Albariño Day. This coming Saturday, August the 3rd, and there are events throughout our listening area right now. There is a Spanish wine trail that goes right down through the heart of California, and it's concentrated, for the most part, along the Central Coast. But there's also a lot going on up in the Napa area, the Berryessa Gap, and that sort of thing. So you'll want to stay tuned for that. Anthony, what did we decide that tapas stood for? It's Tempranillo, Tempranillo, something Producers and Amigos, Associates and Amigos, something like that. Society. That's what TAPA stands for. It's TAPA Society. Advocates, Tempranillo Advocates, Producers, and Amigos Society. Thank you, Anthony. So at any rate, that's at the bottom of the hour. And then we round everything off with our Daily Transformations Tamara Starr with dailytransformations.com. She has 7 of her very own hangover tips. But right now, what we need to do is head on over to the Eat, Drink, Explore news desk, which happens to be the same desk I'm sitting at, to get the very latest information. And a very good morning, everyone. The grape harvest for growers throughout California could arrive anywhere from a week to a month earlier than in recent years. A hot summer for the Napa and Sonoma Valleys appears to have grapes there on the fast track to ripen well ahead of schedule, with sparkling wine grapes already being picked. The Central Coast and Sierra Nevada foothills are only slightly ahead of schedule. If history is any indication of quality, then the early harvest could also mean a very good year for the industry. According to a recent Associated Press article, 1997 is the last time we saw it this hot, and an early harvest kicked in then as well and produced a highly respected vintage. Several campgrounds in Southern California's Angeles National Forest are closed this weekend after a squirrel tested positive for the bubonic plague. Twisted Arrow, Broken Blade, and Pima Loops of the Table Mountain campgrounds have been closed since Wednesday, according to the LA Times. The last urban plague epidemic in the U.S. occurred also in the Los Angeles area during the 1920s. Since that time, plague incidents have occurred sporadically, mostly in rural areas, according to the Centers for Disease Control. Common pesticides used throughout California's Central Valley are showing up in remote areas of the Sierra Nevada, likely pushed up there by the wind. Researchers sampled 7 sites in Lassen Volcanic National Park, Lake Tahoe, Yosemite National Park, Stanislaus National Forest, and Giant Sequoia National Monument. Their analysis of water, sediment, and tissue samples showed the presence of more than 90 different types of pesticides, according to the USGS. 2 fungicides and 1 herbicide, commonly used in agriculture there in the Central Valley, were the most frequently detected compounds. And scientists say this is the first time these compounds have ever been reported in wild frog tissue. Today is the final day of the 35th annual Gilroy Garlic Festival, one of the largest food festivals in the United States. I can't believe I've never been. The event is billed as the ultimate summer food fair and includes entertainment, live music, cooking competitions, and of course, lots and lots of garlic-laced foods and beverages. The first ever Garlic Bowl, which pits culinary teams from California universities, was won by a team representing Fresno State, raking in $5,000 in scholarship money. The Bulldog team edged out the competition from Cal Berkeley and San Jose State, which would be the local favorite, with so this is what they made: Fresno State corn and St. Andre stuffed crepes with a tarragon and lavender garlic cream sauce. That was one dish. And then their other dish was seared duck breast with red currant sauce, garlic purple mashed potatoes, and beet croustillant, or croustillant, depending on how you pronounce it, stuffed fig and chive and garlic goat cheese. Each team had to prepare 2 dishes during the 1-hour timed competition. They're freezing beer foam at Dodger Stadium in order to keep your brew cold for up to a half an hour. Food Beast is reporting that the makers of Kirin beer have come up with a machine, looks a lot like a frozen margarita dispenser, that piles a dollop of excessively chilled beer head on top of your freshly poured tap, insulating it from the hot summer days of Chavez Ravine. Online reviews are mixed. Some say it's difficult to drink around the frozen topping. Others say it works great and keeps their beer nice and cold. It's National Milk Chocolate Day. We're also winding down National Baked Bean Month, Bison Month, Culinary Arts Month, Grilling Month, and National Hot Dog Month. We're in a holding pattern weather-wise. Look for a little warm-up near like Thursday and Friday. And stick around, everyone, because just after the break, we are talking growlers. Back in a moment.
May is National Bike Month. Now, I used to be intimidated at the thought of biking to work. I worried about my outfit, the traffic, and the time. But my expanding waistline and rising gas prices helped me rethink that position. And last May, I tried riding to work. What an amazing change. In the years since I started riding to work, I've lost weight, saved money on gas, and canceled my gym membership. You should try it. Here are a few tips to help you get started. Alter your route for biking. Cars and bikes are both vehicles and both have a right to the road, but you'll feel more comfortable and more able to enjoy your ride if you choose less traveled streets. Ride with a friend the first few times. Someone who has experience biking to work. They'll help you figure out how to carry your clothes, where to park your bike, and the easiest way to get to the office. Follow all the same rules you follow while driving. Signal before you turn, stop at all stop signs, and stay in the rightmost lane going in your direction. Biking to work is fun, easy, and enjoyable. Try it. For more tips and techniques on how to commute by bicycle or to find other cyclists in your area, visit bikeleague.org.
Imagine a world where bullying isn't considered a normal part of childhood.
A world where I'm not afraid to go to school.
To speak out.
To be myself.
A world where I'm not afraid to be caught alone.
Come on, punk.
We have the power to stop the bullying. Speak out.
Speak up.
Educate.
Find out what to look for and how you can make a difference at bullying.org.
Bullying is not kids being kids.
It's not about good homes or bad homes.
It's not part of growing up. I shouldn't be afraid to get on the school bus.
To turn on my computer.
Message. Or walk to my locker. Did you know that a bully will stop his or her behavior in 10 seconds when their peers speak up?
Use your voice.
Hey, leave him alone.
We have the power to stop bullying.
Find out more at bullying.org.
Bullying.org.
Where you're not alone.
Where you're not alone.
Where you're not alone.
The Eat, Drink, Explore Media radio show you are currently enjoying is in a local affiliate commercial break. Live programming will return shortly. Did you know you can watch a live video simulcast of our Sunday morning and Thursday evening shows from your computer, smartphone, or tablet device? And to top it off, it's free. Simply head to eatdrinkexplore.com or download our free app from the Google Play or Apple App Store. If you have a suggestion for an upcoming guest segment, send an email to radio@eatdrinkexplore.com. We're always looking for fresh ideas, including yours. We love to share fresh, local, organic, seasonal, and sustainable ideas throughout the week. And the best place to find those are on our Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook feeds. Our username across the social networking universe is simple: Eat, Drink, Explore, all one word. Hey, college students, Eat, Drink, Explore Media is always looking for qualified journalism or marketing interns. Send us an email today so we can check your status and put you on the list for upcoming intern vacancies. Would you like to hear this Eat, Drink, Explore radio program on one of your local radio stations? Let the station know and contact us as well so we can get the ball rolling. Okay, you made it. The local affiliate commercial break is now over. Time for more informative and entertaining programming from Eat, Drink, Explore Media. Thank you for your patience. Welcome back to the program on this Sunday Funday morning. I'm your host, Randall White, and we are coming to you, as always, from California's fantastic Central Coast. Hey, regular listeners to the Eat, Drink, Explore radio network have heard me mention my support for enjoying locally made craft beer through the use of growlers. They're basically glass or plastic vessels that the bartender fills at your local brew pub, allowing you to take it home or to a party so you can enjoy the beer away from the brewery where it was created. Last December, just before National Growler Day, I mentioned California's what could be confusing and restrictive laws regarding growlers, specifically the need to use branded containers matching the brewery where you're buying your tap product. I've seen several discussion boards related to this recently, saying that California's rules have been updated a bit. I hadn't seen anything on that, so I thought, well, just like when you want the freshest tap craft beer, we're going right to the source to get the freshest updates and definitely some clarification to California's growler laws. Welcoming back Matthew Botting with the state's Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control. Nice to have you back on the show again, Matthew.
Thanks for having me.
So have the rules been updated at all, or was that just sort of one of those internet discussions that took things out of context?
Well, it's interesting because it's more of a clarification than an update. There has been no change in the law. There have been no changes in regulations. What was happening, though, is growlers appear to have become a lot more popular. We started getting a number of inquiries from state legislators, from consumers, and from brewers themselves as to what the rules were with respect to filling and selling growlers and refilling growlers that a consumer might take from brewery to brewery.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be honest with you, there was some inconsistency even within the department as to what the actual rules were. So thanks for giving me the opportunity to clear it all up.
So fill us in now. What is the actual clarification and law?
Well, I always started off with a question as to, what exactly is a growler?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone seems to know what you're talking about when you say growler, but there is really no legal definition of a growler.
Uh-huh.
It's just a container for legal purposes. And so then it comes down to who can fill and sell a growler or any container of beer to go. And so we look at licensing privileges, and only a manufacturer of beer is allowed by law to fill a container of beer. And before it leaves the premises, it must be sealed.
So your bar that might be a tap room, for instance, that has a lot of different craft beers on tap and a great place to go, but they're not producing those beers, they're just selling them. That is not a place you could go get your growler filled.
Correct. You can't just go down to your local neighborhood bar or restaurant, off-sale premises, such as liquor stores, BevMo, that sort of thing. They have no authority to fill any packages, but you can in other states, and that's one of the other things with this burgeoning craft beer industry is there's a patchwork quilt, as with so many of these laws around the country. And so in some other states they can be refilled at different locations. In California, only a manufacturer can refill or fill. And just to confuse things even more, there are some manufacturers of beer who are not legally beer manufacturers.
How does that work?
Well, you have brew pub restaurants. They are actually retailers that have a limited brewing privilege.
Oh, okay. So they can only serve it straight from the keg or the vessel that is holding the beer that they brewed right there on premise,
or sell sealed containers to wholesalers for sale elsewhere.
Okay.
So that kind of confuses things because they kind of look the same as many craft breweries and their tasting rooms. So we get down to the bottom line is only breweries can fill or refill a growler. Now, once they do that, what do they have to do? Well, it has to be sealed. Now, that just means like putting a stopper in it, a screw cap's fine. The law is pretty flexible in that regard. But they also have to properly label the container. And that's where there's been a lot of confusion and really I don't want to say a change in the law or anything, because that's not what happened, but we were responding to a number of inquiries and discussing it with the industry, came up with a little more flexible approach to this. Because what they have to do is put their label on the container that has certain information on it, the true name and address of the manufacturer of the beer. So when you go into one of these breweries with someone else's growler that still has that other brewery's information on it, if they just filled it up and essentially sold it back to you, it's now got incorrect information on it once it leaves the premises. So they have to put their own label on it. Now, what happens if the growler still has the other brewery's information on it? The position we had before was, it's like, well, you can't have the information of two different breweries on the container because then one's correct and one's wrong, and the incorrect one then causes a violation of the law. Well, we softened our stance a little bit and basically said, look, as long as your new label completely covers the information of the other brewery, then we're okay with that.
Oh, okay.
But it has to be done in a manner that is not readily removable by the consumer. So, just sticking it in a paper bag and writing your name on it doesn't cut it. And then you throw on top of that all breweries actually have to file their labels with us in Sacramento. So unless your label's on file with us, you can't just put another label on the container. So you have these labeling issues as well, and that's what caused a lot of confusion. Then just to throw a little bit of gasoline on the fire, this did get characterized as some radical change of position by the ABC, which is inaccurate. But a lot of the craft breweries have now come out and said, look, these are the standards we are going to follow with respect to refilling growlers or any container that a customer brings in.
Right.
And they spell it out. And a lot of that is not dictated by law. It just makes good sense.
So there might be some standardization on the size of the labels that would go on these growlers just to make it easy for other breweries to completely cover each other's labels. Either that or just, as I believe Russian River Brewing Company did recently, they just said, it's our growler or no growler.
Yeah, and I think that's a fair position for them. And you're right. I mean, if you standardize, if they all get together and standardize their labels size-wise, so that's fine. That's up to them. But then you get into challenges of, someone's got a fancy growler they've had specially made, and it's got, screen printed on their information.
Right.
So that can cause some challenges there. Or they've got it blown into the glass, or it's embossed in the glass itself. That makes it difficult. So you've got those sorts of challenges.
Yeah.
And I can't say that any of the breweries that have come out with their own house policies are doing anything, they're certainly not doing anything improper from our perspective. And if you read some of them, it just makes perfect sense. They've got equipment that is designed to clean a particular type of growler. So if you bring in a different one and they go to clean it, it may not come out clean. And if I'm a brewery, I'm taking great pride in the beer that I'm producing, and I want my consumers to experience the beer that I intended them to taste. So I'm not going to put it in a growler that I can't guarantee its cleanliness.
Yeah, and depending on the length of time that the beer sits in that growler, cleanliness plays a huge role.
Yeah.
Matthew Botting with the State's Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control, clarifying California's growler laws. Thank you so much. It really goes a long way, I think, in helping our audience at least understand where they stand and where their local brew pub or microbrewery stands as well. Matthew, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for being on Eat, Drink, Explore.
My pleasure.
All right, just after the break, we're switching from beer to wine as we discuss a Spanish wine tradition you can enjoy right here in California. You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. I'm your host, Randall White, and we're back in just a moment.
The traditional light bulb, a groundbreaking invention in 1879. Other groundbreaking ideas from that time, the whalebone corset, the pedal-operated submarine, and the two-story outhouse. We've come a long way since then. It's time our light bulbs did the same. Visit EnergySaver.gov and learn about energy-saving light bulbs. See, these new bulbs are more efficient than the old ones, like a text message is more efficient than a carrier pigeon. They last longer, too, like how we humans last longer now that doctors use antibiotics instead of leeches. And they cut down on our energy costs, because in our own groundbreaking age of aeroplanes and moving pictures, we deserve a light bulb that saves us some cash. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Energy and the Ad Council.
May is National Bike Month. Now, I used to be intimidated at the thought of biking to work. I worried about my outfit, the traffic, and the time, but my expanding waistline and rising gas prices helped me rethink that position. And last May, I tried riding to work. What an amazing change. In the years since I started riding to work, I've lost weight, saved money on gas, and canceled my gym membership. You should try it. Here are a few tips to help you get started. Alter your route for biking. Cars and bikes are both vehicles and both have a right to the road, but you'll feel more comfortable and more able to enjoy your ride if you choose less traveled streets. Ride with a friend the first few times, someone who has experience biking to work. They'll help you figure out how to carry your clothes, where to park your bike, and the easiest way to get to the office. Follow all the same rules you follow while driving. Signal before you turn, stop at all stop signs, and stay in the rightmost lane going in your direction. Biking to work is fun, easy, and enjoyable. Try it. For more tips and techniques on how to commute by bicycle or to find other cyclists in your area, visit bikeleague.org.
The Eat, Drink, Explore Media radio show you are currently enjoying is in a local affiliate commercial break. Live programming will return shortly. Did you know you can watch a live video simulcast of our Sunday morning and Thursday evening shows from your computer, smartphone, or tablet device? And to top it off, it's free. Simply head to eatdrinkexplore.com or download our free app from the Google Play or Apple App Store. If you have a suggestion for an upcoming guest segment, send an email to radio@eatdrinkexplore.com. We're always looking for fresh ideas, including yours. We love to share fresh, local, organic, seasonal, and sustainable ideas throughout the week. And the best place to find those are on our Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook feeds. Our username across the social networking universe is simple: Eat, Drink, Explore, all one word. Hey, college students, Eat, Drink, Explore Media is always looking for qualified journalism or marketing interns. Send us an email today so we can check your status and put you on the list for upcoming intern vacancies. Would you like to hear this Eat, Drink, Explore radio program on one of your local radio stations? Let the station know and contact us as well so we can get the ball rolling. Okay, you made it. The local affiliate commercial break is now over. Time for more informative and entertaining programming from Eat, Drink, Explore Media. Thank you for your patience.
Welcome back to the Eat, Drink, Explore radio network. Here now is your fabulous host, Mr. Randall White.
Welcome back to the program, everyone. Great to have you here on this Sunday Funday. I am your host, Randall White. You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore radio network. By the way, any of the guests you've heard throughout the day today, or the topics or details, those sorts of things, just head over to our program summary for today's show at eatdrinkexplore.com, or previous shows for that matter. If you missed an entire week, you can watch the show or listen to it online easily as well. All right, this coming Saturday is International Albariño Day. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. August the 3rd, so mark it on your calendar. And I know that because I received a little note from Tapas, which is the Tempranillo Advocates, Producers, and Amigos Society. You can find them online at tapasociety.org. Don't put in two S's. It's a TAPAS, or TAPA society.org. And joining us right now is Rick Longoria. He's with Longoria Winery, which is on the Central Coast, in the Lompoc Ghetto, I believe is where your tasting room is. Welcome to the program, Rick.
Thank you, Randall.
Yeah, do I have that right? You're in the Lompoc Ghetto.
Yes.
Which is so much fun. I personally haven't been there, but I have a zillion friends who have been, and they all keep telling me, Randall, you're only like a 45-minute drive from there. Why haven't you been there yet? It is a little area in Lompoc where some wine producers decided to put their tasting rooms, and it's sort of grown, is it not?
Oh, yeah. We actually were the first winery to move into the city of Lompoc here in this industrial park right on the east side of town.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually the first intersection as you come from Buellton on Highway 246. And that was 15 years ago.
Wow.
And since then, the town has experienced a tremendous growth in wineries. I think there's now 30 different wineries operating in the city.
Whoa.
And here in the ghetto, this industrial park, there's about 18 different tasting rooms. Not all of the wineries are making wine here,
mm-hmm.
but because this is such a centrally located place, some of them have set up just tasting rooms, but they do make wine.
I like that. I like how you can walk from one to the next. Downtown Santa Barbara has that going on. San Luis Obispo, where we broadcast this show, has made it very convenient as well, where you can leave the car, back at the hotel or what have you, and just walk from tasting room to tasting room. So, Rick, you are part of the Tempranillo Advocates, Producers, and Amigos Society. What's the connection between Tempranillo and Albariño?
Well, the Tapas Society was established by wineries that are focusing in on Iberian grape varietals.
And that's the name of the peninsula that Spain sits on.
Yeah, well, Spain and Portugal sort of share that peninsula. And so, there's wineries as far north as Oregon and all the way down through California and Arizona that are focusing in on Iberian varietals. And so we've banded together to kind of promote, a lot of these varietals, of course, people have never heard of.
Right.
Albariño now, of course, is we've been producing that for the last, I would say generally as an industry, it's been produced for the last 10 years or so. So it's, and really just the sheer wonderful quality of the wine is really found a home in California and other areas, and it's just becoming a super popular wine. Our Albariño sells out within months, so that's very exciting. And Tempranillo, of course, is the predominant red grape in Spain. Just about every wine region in Spain makes wine from Tempranillo, and so that was the original focus of the group. But of course, we're including now up-and-coming white grapes like Albariño, Graciano, Verdelho, and some of the reds. Of course, Garnacha is
mm-hmm.
Spanish grape. So there's a lot of, I think we're in a period right now, and the wine-drinking public, they're very interested in new varietals.
Yeah, move beyond the Cabernet and Chardonnays that California is so known for and try something a little different.
Exactly, and especially when they turn out really well. Our Tempranillo tends to make a softer, fruitier, more approachable wine, and that's becoming very popular. And you can also blend other varieties. We blend a little Merlot and Syrah with our Tempranillo, and then other producers are even going beyond that and just making proprietary blends that are like maybe half Tempranillo and then half other varietals, such as Bordeaux varietals. So there's just a lot of experimentation going on, and the results are just fabulous.
Well, it really makes sense here in California. I know I've traveled extensively throughout Portugal and Spain, and our climate is is almost identical in many cases. How are the soils? How do those compare?
Well, I think I just came back from a week in the Bierzo region, which is near Galicia, which is where the Albariño is grown.
Mm-hmm.
And they were describing their soils as sort of granitic in style. There's some schist and shale formations in the soil. And we don't find that too often here in California. So that's, I think, a little bit of a difference. And it could explain why a lot of their, especially white wines, have a more mineral quality to them than we have here in California.
Oh, okay.
I think it's soil differences.
So I do want to let people know that you have a terrific resource on your website. Again, that is tapasociety.org. You have naps maps rather for, or maybe a nap, but I guess we'd call it a siesta in this case. No, you have maps with an M, and you call it the Nuevo Spanish Wine Trail, and it starts up in Washington, heads down the West Coast, of course, makes several pit stops in the Bay Area and through the Central Coast, and then jets out across Arizona and New Mexico into Texas. That is the general growing region, I guess, for these styles of grapes.
Well, thus far, that's where our producers tend to be situated. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the trail lengthens to the Midwest and maybe even the East Coast. I think I've heard of a winery in Virginia attempting to grow some Albariño.
Oh.
So I think that trail is going to fill in, but for right now it's kind of on the West Coast and into the Southwest.
Let's talk about some of the events that are scheduled for this coming Saturday. I imagine on this map that you have on the website, people can click on the individual wineries and then research further. But there are some big ones happening in the Berryessa region, which is where I spent many of my summers growing up as a child.
Yeah, actually, I'm not familiar with what's going on there.
Oh, okay.
So you probably know more than I do, having visited the website there.
Yeah, I have. Let me see here if I can pull it up. It is. Oh, of course, I click on the wrong thing.
I know. Here locally, my neighbor Verdad winery is featuring their Albariños. They have 2 bottlings at their tasting room in Los Olivos.
Oh, okay.
And then right next door is our tasting room, and on Sunday we'll also have our 2 versions. We have a barrel-fermented, barrel-aged Albariño, and then also a regular stainless steel fermented Albariño. So we're not exactly throwing a party, but we're going to be featuring those 2 Albariños. We normally don't pour both of them at the same time.
Right.
And
so you have a tasting room in Los Olivos as well?
That's correct, yeah. Actually, that's our main tasting room that's open every day.
Oh, good. Okay.
So, yeah, come down to Los Olivos and taste 4 different Albariños from our Santa Barbara region.
And you mentioned that it is a white wine. What would people most likely compare it to?
It's a very intriguing grape, and historically, the story of the Spaniards feel that the grape was brought over by some German monks back in the 11th and 12th centuries. This area in Spain, northwest Spain, is right in the heart of the pilgrimage route, the St. James Way, which is a very historic route leading towards the cathedral in Santiago de Compostela.
Mm.
And this is where the Albariño grape is grown. So there's some ties, perhaps, to the Riesling grape. It has some of the same aromatics as Riesling, but then it kind of is a little bit different. It has a little grassy elements of Sauvignon Blanc and maybe a little spice characteristics of Gewürztraminer.
Oh, wow.
So basically, it's just a very aromatic grape, really naturally high acidity, and of course grown in this northwest province of Spain where seafood is dominant.
Mm-hmm.
It just goes really well with shellfish, and one of the what they're known for, and that's octopus, grilled octopus with paprika sprinkled over it.
Mm-hmm. And some of those octopus salads that come right before you eat your meal there as an appetizer at the different restaurants. That sounds like it would make a great combination. When I think of Gewürztraminer and also Rieslings, I think of sweeter wines. Is this typically a sweeter wine?
No, to the contrary. It's bone dry. Again, super high acidity. It's really crisp and very refreshing, and generally the alcohols are no more than 12%.
Well, I just found the information on the website that I was referring to, and it is way more than I could possibly discuss here. So what I'll do is I'll just tell people to head on over to the website, which is tapasociety.org. Click on the link to the Albariño Fiesta, and you can find different places, locations where you can try some of the seafood traditions, shrimp, calamari, oysters, and more, all to celebrate International Albariño Day. And thank you so much to our guest, Rick Longoria with Longoria Winery. It's longoriawinery.com. Thank you, sir.
My pleasure.
All right, everyone. Stick around. When we come back in just a moment, we will find some interesting tips for curing that hangover. I'm not saying you have one, but some stuff you can shove in your pocket. Back in a moment.
Randall White here, host of Eat, Drink, Explore Radio, with a tip for Central Coast wine tasting. Eberly Winery was recently voted Winery of the Year by the world's top sommeliers and has one of the best local tours according to Wine Spectator. Eberly Winery open daily 10 to 6, and the winery's cave tours and wine tasting always complimentary. It's easy to find, too. Located on Highway 46 East, just 3.5 miles from Highway 101. Now it's time to plan your visit. Just head to eberlywinery.com.
Imagine a world where bullying isn't considered a normal part of childhood.
A world where I'm not afraid to go to school.
To speak out.
To be myself.
A world where I'm not afraid to be caught alone.
Come on, punk.
We have the power to stop the bullying. Speak out.
Speak up.
Educate.
Find out what to look for and how you can make a difference at bullying.org.
Bullying is not kids being kids.
It's not about good homes or bad homes.
It's not a normal part of growing up. I shouldn't be afraid to get on the school bus.
To turn on my computer.
Message. Or walk to my locker. Did you know that a bully will stop his or her behavior in 10 seconds when their peers speak up?
Use your voice.
Hey, leave him alone.
We have the power to stop bullying.
Find out more at bullying.org.
Bullying.org.
Where you're not alone.
Where you're not alone.
Where you're not alone.
Randall White here, host of Eat, Drink, Explore Radio, with a tip for Central Coast wine tasting. Eberly Winery was recently voted Winery of the Year by the world's top sommeliers and has one of the best local tours according to Wine Spectator. Eberly Winery open daily 10 to 6, and the winery's cave tours and wine tasting always complimentary. It's easy to find, too. Located on Highway 46 East, just 3.5 miles from Highway 101. Now it's time to plan your visit. Just head to eberlywinery.com.
The Eat, Drink, Explore Media radio show you are currently enjoying is in a local affiliate commercial break. Live programming will return shortly. Did you know you can watch a live video simulcast of our Sunday morning and Thursday evening shows from your computer, smartphone, or tablet device? And to top it off, it's free. Simply head to eatdrinkexplore.com or download our free app from the Google Play or Apple App Store. If you have a suggestion for an upcoming guest segment, send an email to radio@eatdrinkexplore.com. We're always looking for fresh ideas, including yours. We love to share fresh, local, organic, seasonal, and sustainable ideas throughout the week. And the best place to find those are on our Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook feeds. Our username across the social networking universe is simple: Eat, Drink, Explore, all one word. Hey, college students, Eat, Drink, Explore Media is always looking for qualified journalism or marketing interns. Send us an email today so we can check your status and put you on the list for upcoming intern vacancies. Would you like to hear this Eat, Drink, Explore radio program on one of your local radio stations? Let the station know and contact us as well so we can get the ball rolling. Okay, you made it. The local affiliate commercial break is now over. Time for more informative and entertaining programming from Eat, Drink, Explore Media. Thank you for your patience. Welcome back to the program, everyone. Great to have you with us here on this Sunday morning. It is the final segment for the Eat, Drink, Explore radio show. And after a couple of segments on wine and beer, we thought perhaps we would close out the show with some tips on easing your hangover woes. And who knows, it is a Sunday morning, so perhaps some of you out there can use the tips that our guest Tamara Starr with dailytransformations.com is here to offer. She joins us on the live line right now from Boulder, Colorado. Hey, Tamara.
Hi, Randall.
Nice to have you joining us. And of course, I love your town, Boulder. It's one of those, there are several towns throughout the United States that I believe just have this natural built-in energy and health and life force sort of thing. And Boulder, I think, is one of those.
Oh, we love it here. Thank you.
So when you drink too much alcohol, which results in a hangover, it's because you've thrown your body's system out of whack, right?
Right. You're dehydrated, and alcohol is a natural diuretic. So if you're not drinking enough water, not only are you going to be depleted from the alcohol, but you've also let yourself get dehydrated. So it's a double whammy.
And is water the best way to deal with the dehydration? Is it something that you should drink first thing in the morning or even before that?
Well, I always suggest, as we used to say back in college, pound a glass of water before you go to bed. But I have a personal rule when I'm out drinking. If I have a glass of wine or a margarita, I match it with a glass of water for each drink.
So a one for one.
Hydrated. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Going one for one.
And if you do that, just by, the presence of that glass of water that you have to drink, that takes up time, and it's time that you're not drinking another glass of something, right?
Exactly.
Okay, on the topic of getting in more fluids, you also recommend a specific type of smoothie.
Yeah, it sounds crazy, but what your body is really depleted with is not only the water, but also your salt levels, your potassium, your vitamin Bs, your magnesium. And so celery contains high doses of all of that. It's rich in fiber, too, so it's got a lot of essential amino acids. And if you pop pineapple, as well as a few other ingredients that I list on my site, the pineapple covers the taste of the celery, and it brings a whole host of enzymes, which is naturally healing and anti-inflammatory. It contains specifically bromelain, which is a powerful enzyme. So the pineapple-celery combination, that'll get rid of your headache like nobody's business.
Bromelain, I haven't heard of that, but now it's on my radar. So good. That's why we have people like you on the show, Tamara, to help us out with some of those things. Okay, now the first two make total sense to me. Rehydrate, and rehydrate was something very nutritious, containing some of the minerals we might have knocked out of our system. The third one, I know, definitely sounds good on a hangover morning, but I didn't know it could actually help, and that is to eat something greasy.
Isn't that funny? We wake up naturally wanting bacon, eggs, grease. It's like the body naturally knows what it wants. And doctors even recommend have some grease to help coat your intestinal tract, and that'll take away your stomach ache.
Really? So that actually works, the whole coating thing?
It does. And, if you're healthy like me and you hate to have bacon and eggs, too often, or you're vegan, there's a smoothie alternative to that too.
Ooh, what are the ingredients for that?
Well, you need your fat, your potassium, and your minerals. And the way to put that in through fruit is a banana, natural cacao powder, which is just cocoa powder without the chemicals, maple syrup, and peanut butter or almond butter, the nut butter of your choice.
That's fantastic. I have all those ingredients at home.
It's smooth and creamy and gives you just enough fat to coat your stomach.
You could have that on any day, whether you have a hangover or not, right?
You could.
All right. Many of my colleagues here at Eat, Drink, Explore Media are big fans of coconut water. I have not jumped on that bandwagon yet, but I want you to give me some reasons why I should.
I love coconut water. It's a natural electrolyte. So if alcohol is dehydrating you, your body's out of balance. And after drinking, coconut water brings you naturally back into balance by restoring your electrolyte level.
Mm-hmm.
You want to make sure, though, you do the raw coconut water that hasn't been pasteurized, because pasteurization heats it and ruins the enzymes. And you also want to make sure that you have unsweetened. You want the pure stuff from Mother Nature.
Right. Add too much of the sweetener and all that sort of thing, you're just going to feel worse later.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay, your next one, Tamara, I could do every meal of the day because I'm a huge pasta fan, but you say specifically enjoy some spicy pasta.
Yes, alcohol lowers our blood sugar. So when we take in a healthy carb, like good pasta, carbs increase that blood sugar back to normal balance.
Mm-hmm.
And spicy food releases endorphins from your brain and helps you feel better. So when you combine the two, pasta with spicy sauce, it not only balances your sugar levels, but it eases as what I call the brain guilt.
And I guess if you had some sausage or ground beef in there, you could make it kind of greasy on top of it, and you could combine the greasy meal with the spicy pasta sauce.
There you go. There you go.
Get it all in one.
If you're vegan, you can stir in peanut butter.
There you go. Yeah, that would be interesting. But although there are spicy peanut sauces, like in Thai restaurants and stuff.
That's true.
So,
you put that on the site.
See, not such a bad idea. Okay, how about it says to rub some peppermint oil on your temples or the back of your neck.
Oh, I love essential oils. I think they're miraculous. Peppermint oil not only gets rid of a headache by bringing more blood circulation to the area, but it also gets rid of a stomach ache.
Do you have a little friend there with you?
Just a little one. Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. We love dogs here at Eat, Drink, Explore.
So I recommend putting some peppermint oil on your temples, behind your neck, on your stomach, and then if it's good, essential, pure peppermint oil, put a little bit on your tongue, too, because it'll help the nausea from the inside as well as the out.
I ran out of peppermint oil about 6 months ago, and I have not restocked, so I need to do that now, have it in hand for the occasional hangover. All right, and then finally on your list of 7, have a tablespoon of raw honey. The key word there is raw.
Definitely raw. You want the thick, creamy, opaque honey, not the clear honey. The clear honey has been heated. So you want the good raw honey. And, like your grandma used to say, a spoonful of honey makes the medicine go down. It brings a host of minerals into your body. And this is a biggie because minerals are what your body's missing after tossing back a few too many glasses of wine.
And if you can find some raw honey at your local farmer's market that was made locally, I know you have some great beekeepers there in the Boulder area. We just had them on our show not that long ago.
Yes.
You can also help any of the allergies that might be enhancing your hangover as well. So
definitely. You can even put a drop of peppermint oil on your teaspoon of honey, and that's yummy, too.
There you go. It's a win-win. And that's what you'll find at Tamara's site as well. Tamara Star with dailytransformations.com. If you missed any of the tips that we just gave you today, they're all available at a link that we have under today's program summary at eatdrinkexplore.com. Tamara Star from Boulder, Colorado, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Randall. It's always nice to talk to you.
And stick around, everyone. Oh, well, no, don't stick around. That was our final segment. Just make it a great day and join us right back here next week on Eat, Drink, Explore Radio.
You've been listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore radio program. If you missed any of our segments today, look for them online or through our free Apple and Android apps. Catch you back right here next week.